A little too high there. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming. We'll get started right at 2 o'clock. If you are here right now, you are early. And we have a intermediate level lesson today. So before we get started, make sure to check out the prerequisites. Now is your chance to see the prerequisites before the lesson starts. You even have some time to do them, to do many of them before we start. So yeah, there are kind of a lot of them today, but you don't have to know you don't have to master every single one of these, but you really want to have these two mastered, I would say. You want to know how to conjugate the unica form already. You already need to know that can mean because, so be aware of that usage before starting today. Also, you want to really know the 보다 form for trying to do something, literally to do something and see how it goes, like to try it. You really want to be familiar with these two forms. The other ones, I recommend knowing them, but you don't have to master them. But the reason is the other forms will all commonly appear with the form we're using today. For example, 지 알다 or 모르다, like to not know or to know whether something happens or something doesn't happen, or to whether or if, that sort of meaning, whether or if. Also, you want to know about quoting forms. They also appear frequently with this form, and the past tense forms, not just regular past tense, but the 더 forms. For example, 더라고, 더라. Those types of past tense forms are also going to be commonly used with this form we're using today because it has to do with realizing something. So typically, realizing something is going to be something you realize will be something in the past tense. So I recommend that. And finally, another thing is since you're realizing something, it's common that you'll see this 게 되다 form, which is like to end up something. So this might be like 알게 되었어요, like I ended up knowing, I figured out, I learned, that sort of meaning. So especially though these two, make sure you know these two before attempting this live lesson today. Let's see who's here. Welcome. Let's see. Joe Turner. Aylin. Let's see who else is here. Anselmida. Jordy. Sam. Hey, Sam. Yeah, the YouTube added a new feature where you can just send a highlighted message once a month if you are a channel member. I turned it on. I guess you're the first person to use it, Sam. Hey, Secretive. Secretive's my mod. Welcome. I'm going to post something in the chat. Everyone should check it out. Actually, hold on a second. Okay. I have a couple big announcements for today. Before I do that, I'm going to do our regular small announcements. So regular announcements. Every live stream has a worksheet and an outline you can download on Patreon. So if you are a Patreon member, let's see. I guess that'll work. We'll see if that works. I actually don't know. If you are a Patreon member, whether that link shows up or not, you get access to all of the worksheets as well. Oh, it's in the description anyway. There it is. Okay. You get access to all of the worksheets and outlines for every live stream that I do. So today's live stream, the worksheet is already on Patreon, and this outline of everything will be up there right after this lesson's done. So that's just a benefit only for Patreon members. But again, that's for every Patreon. You don't have to have you don't have to do like a, large $50 a month subscription to get that. Everyone gets that on Patreon. Other announcements. If you are a channel member, so everyone who's green, all of my little green people in here that you see people commenting. Hey, Lauren, those are members. And I'm a trendsetter, yes. Those are the members of this channel. They are the people who financially support me each month, and they help me keep this, everything going, keep the lights on and such. Those members also get access to these live streams abridged the same day that they come out. So tonight, after this live stream, you can go on my YouTube channel and you can check out the abridged version of this lesson, which will be the same, all of the most important stuff that I condense down to typically around 10 minutes or so. So yeah, that's only for members. Also, another announcement, I make this every week. Let me just type it here. Join our Discord. It's completely free. It's the official Discord. I'm in there too. And you can chat with other people who are learning Korean. You can ask Korean questions. You can just share Korean media, or I don't know, a lot of people talking about Squid Game recently in there. Check it out. It's again, completely free and open to anyone who's learning Korean. Other announcements. Weather's getting a little bit cooler lately, so what better way than to put on a hoodie. I don't know. I also have merchandise. If you're interested in another way to support me, I also have some merchandise. I know many of you actually have already got merchandise. I've seen people share links with me on social media. That's really cool. Okay, and the last small announcement is that next week, Sunday, there will be no live stream. So yes, I'll say it again. Next Sunday, there is no live class. That's because I always do 3 in a row and take a week off. 3 in a row and take a week off. Unless I'm not in the US, then in which case like if I'm going to Korea or something, then I will take, I won't be doing live classes then. So yeah, it's three on, 1 off. So next Sunday, there will not be a live stream, which leads us into the first announcement for today. So let me put this here. You can find out all of the live streams coming up, at least for the near future. You can find when the next live stream is by just checking out my Google document, which it's linked in all of my community posts. You can easily find it on my channel in the community tab. And it has all of the live streams I've ever done. So all of the links to the videos, the abridged videos, the worksheets, the outlines, everything that's taught, it's all there. You can check it out. That's free. You can view that for free. You won't be able to see the outlines and the worksheets unless you're Patreon members, but everything else you can see. It also shows the dates for every live stream I've ever done, as well as future dates for upcoming live streams. Go to that link and check it out for a second. Tell me if you notice something. Tell me if you notice something interesting about the schedule. Okay, well, it's one of the announcements. I'm going to Korea again next month. So next Sunday, there will be no live stream. The next Sunday after that, I will have a live stream. And then there won't be any live streams again until the end of November. So yes. So yeah, we have only today's live stream and then 2 Sundays from now, a live stream. And that will be the last one until the end of November. Just saying it twice in case anyone missed it. Let me double check to make sure I'm not missing any other live streams. Yeah. So the next live stream is going to be the October 17th. And then the next one after that will be October 28th. Yeah, so I'm going to be going to Korea again it'll be a short trip. Let's just see here. Okay. Yeah, so because of that, there won't be any live streams for most of November. I'll be gone in November for about 3 weeks. And yeah, when I'm in Korea, though, I will try to do a regular live stream. So it won't be the last live stream it won't be the last time you see me in November, but it will be the last class for November. See, we still have 5 minutes left for announcements, and that's great because I do have one more announcement. Okay, so again, just really quick, summary. Oh, thanks, Jordy. That's really nice. Yeah, Jordy, those are the live classes that we have, October 17th, and then it'll be November 28th. I was like, I can't remember the month of November all of a sudden. And then, the other dates coming up. So I try to provide them until the end of the year. And I'll always have them in advance. You can always check a month or so in advance just to see if there's a live stream on that day. You don't have to guess. Anyway, so yes, that's the whole spreadsheet. I think that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, if you have any requests for videos you'd like me to do or people you'd like me to meet, please let me know in advance because I am planning that stuff right now. I am setting days to meet people and do collabs already. So if there's something you really want me to do, if it's possible, of course, like if you want me to meet BTS, well, I'm working on that too. So we'll see. But if you want me to do a specific collab, like you want to learn about something in Korea or something in Korean, that's great too. Another YouTuber you want me to meet. Again, possible people that I can possibly meet. Don't say, Billy collab with PewDiePie. It's never going to happen. So request people that's possible for my channel. Please do let me know. You can send me a message or an email or a YouTube comment. You could comment on this video later. Join me in my Discord and tag me, whatever. Just let me know in advance. I'm getting ready for that trip already. Feels weird because I was just there a couple months ago. But yeah, anyway. So we have another announcement and Patreon members and YouTube channel members already know about this. These are not the finished version. If you see these are actually my proofs. It doesn't focus on it. These are actually my proof versions, like the drafts kind of. So although it is the completed workbook, it's finished. You can use it, you can read it and do it. It's not the final proofread version. I'm still going to go through another time and check, triple check, quadruple check, whatever for typos. I'm sure a couple will still make it through. But yeah, I'm going to do one more check and get some audio files made. And hopefully before next month, before I'm in Korea, hopefully I'll be able to release these. And if you are a Patreon member or a YouTube channel member, you also get your name in the back of the book. There is a section. Right now it's completely empty, but there is a section in the back of the book that has a special thanks section. I actually just put the person who designed the cover in here, and that's it. There's a special thanks section that is going to have all of your names in it, so they will stay in there forever. If you are there now in the book, if you do the survey, which is on Patreon and also linked on my YouTube channel page, if you do that and you're a channel member or a Patreon member, your name will be in both of these books forever. Even if you join my Patreon for one day, do the survey, and then cancel before the survey closes, just keep it open for a week so I can check it, then your name will still be in there forever. So your name will be always in both of these books, workbook 2 and 3. So yeah, ever since I published the first workbook, which I actually have right over there, people have been hounding me for, Billy, when are you going to release the second and third workbooks? So I've been secretly working on them for a long time. I'd say really I started every day working on them from this year, maybe January, February. I have to check. Beginning of this year, I've been working on them. And then I stopped to go to Korea for 2 months or so. And now back working on them again, now that I'm back. Yes, they take a very long time to make, which is why I hadn't made them. I was kind of lazy. I guess that's the real reason. I was a bit lazy. So yeah, and they're both same size as the first one, just more higher level, I'll say, because there's a lot more that you can do in the second and third books than the first book. The first book had a lot of fill in this Hangul syllable, or complete the sentence using this one word, because you don't yet have enough to make a lot of sentences yet at that level. But by the time you get to the second book, I mean, you can make a lot of full sentences, and especially the third book. You can see the third book right here. One of the pages here, I'll show you. One of the pages is practicing all of these passive verb conjugations, which are seriously boring, but if you want to do that's cool. And or translation practice, matching, stuff like that. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, these are my favorite. They're at the end of each one, there's a short dictation exercise where you listen to an audio file and you write down what they say. And these are I tried to make them quite long and tricky to write down as a challenge. So of course, only using stuff you learn in the books. Anyway, so yeah, hopefully if everything goes well, these will be out before the beginning of November, before November. So make sure to get your name in the workbooks right now. You can find the survey on Patreon and on YouTube community tab. Okay, let me check the chat because I didn't look at the chat for 1 second now while I was doing that. Let's check here. Okay, but yeah, and if you're wondering, another announcement, I'm working on some other stuff too. I'll announce more stuff as it gets closer, but I am working on, those aren't the only things I've been working on. I'm working on another video project, which I'll share with you when it gets closer to, once I have something I can share. It's not ready yet. And of course, I'll do more books, but they're going to be different. So this is the last for my Korean Made Simple series for a while, I think. And I'll be doing something a little bit different, but that's coming up as well. And I'll of course, keep you up to date once I have something to share. Okay, it is 2 o'clock. I'm supposed to start the lesson. Today, I've got a new caffeine drink. I have no idea if this tastes good or not. Again, I just grab stuff off the shelf that I see. Last time, it was the kimchi soda. This time, it's some watermelon flavored, lightly caffeinated, sparkling water that I grabbed off the, it was the clearance shelf. I don't know if it was the clearance shelf. It looked like the clearance shelf at Walmart. Uh-oh, it's that's okay. Well, fortunately, it's just water, so it's okay if it got on my hands. So I don't know how this will taste. Not very good. It says watermelon. It tastes more like watermelon peel, like the rind, not the peel, but the rind, the white part of the watermelon that you usually throw away. For water though, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. That's pretty good. It's not good at the same time that it is good, because it's not like fruity watermelon like you'd expect, but it is, because there's no sugar in it, you kind of accept it as like scented water instead of expecting like a watermelon flavor. And yeah, it's not bad. So the only reason I bought it was just because I needed some caffeine drink. Anyway, pass, as in like I give it a pass, not all pass, but that was pretty good. Okay, so now we will get started with the lesson. I'm just gonna check the comments for another second. Walmart is the American supermarket. Yeah, I usually don't go there, but sometimes if I just need a ton of, like, you know, buy a ton of stuff at the same time, then it's usually the cheapest and easiest here where I am. Better or worse than strawberry? Oh no, strawberry kimchi soda. The kimchi soda was 5 out of 5. Kimchi soda was amazing. I'm trying to get a sponsorship deal with them. I never contacted them, but that was really good. I would buy that again any day. In fact, I should probably just order like a 24 pack next time I go to Korea. Oops. Okay. I think that's all of our announcements. Oh yes, okay. So yeah, just make sure if you want your name in the book, once more, check out Patreon or the channel community tab. So there's a Google document in there and you can put your name in there. Okay, let's get started. Last time we talked about another form that used 보니까. I think it was that 다 보니까. This time we have another form. This form is, the last form we did was more advanced level. This one is more intermediate level, I would say. Action, the way you make it, first I'll show you how you make it. The way you make it is you take an action verb stem and you conjugate it like normal, as if you were getting the 요 form of a verb. So 하다 just becomes 해, right? 해요. 되다 becomes 돼, like that. 먹다 becomes 먹어. So that's all you do. You conjugate a verb and then you attach 보니 and optionally 가. Most of the time, this 가 gets added to the end, especially in, well, actually, I write that. I don't know what I was trying to write. Speech. In regular speaking, your day-to-day conversations, you'll usually say 가. But in writing, you might commonly see 보니, especially more things that are like formal. So like an article or maybe example sentences or something like that. Something that's writing that sounds a little more formal. We'll usually just use 보니. But both are quite common. But when you're speaking, 보니까 will be more common. Okay, so that's how you make it. What is this form? Well, this form is a different 보니까 than the 다 보니까 that we did last time, which is kind of might surprise you because it's technically the same verb 보다. Well, when we did 다 보니까 last time, the 보니까 was not it wasn't the try 보다, it was the see or look 보다. Like after you do something, while you're doing it, you look and see, oh, I see something, you know, I realize something. That's a note if you were there for our lesson last Sunday. If you weren't, you can ignore that. So what this is a combination of the action verb conjugated with the verb 보다, meaning to try. Literally, it's like to do something and see, but it's used to mean to try doing something. Like, I tried eating it. I tried going to Korea. I tried learning Korean. Anything like that. You're doing it and seeing how it goes, so you're trying it out. And then it's also combined with the 니까 ending. Now, the 니까 ending literally means because, but its usage is to show that you've realized something after doing something. So we have a combination of doing a verb that you're trying and then realizing something after doing it. And that's the meaning of this form. I'm going to write down what it means so you can have something to write down for notes. Okay. I just wanted to write it down first before I try to like write it down while say it while I'm writing it down. This form shows that someone, typically the speaker, realizes something after they've tried to do something or after they've just done something. Typically, this will be for the first time, since the 보다 form is like you're trying it out. For example, if you were to say like, here, there's this new food. Why don't you try it? 먹어봐요. Try it out. Literally like eat it and see. So try eating it. That implies that you haven't already eaten it, right? If they've already been eating it, you wouldn't say, here, try this in English either. You'd say, here, have another bite, right? Something like that. So the 보다 form implies that it's usually their first time or they hadn't already done it. So trying something, and then after, the speaker realizes something after trying it. That's what this form means. Okay. So you can translate this form as something like, after trying to do action verb, I realized. After trying to do verb, whatever it is, I realized something. And what I realized will be the second part of the sentence after this form. But there are other ways you can translate this too. For example, now that I've tried doing something, I realized. Or maybe now because I've tried doing something, I realized. But it doesn't really matter so much how you translate this form, as long as you understand the meaning is to show that the speaker, someone, realizes something after trying something. That's the most important part. This shows a realization after you try something. Hence, 보니까, 보다, 해보다, to try. That's pretty much all there is to it. So I tried something, 해보다. So I tried something, and I realized after trying it. Okay. One more note we have to do before I can start this form. One more note is that if you ever want to say 보다 as this action verb, well, you wouldn't do 보아, 보니까. You wouldn't conjugate this to 보아. It would just be 보니까. So if you want to use 보다, skip this whole form, just use 보니까. Because you don't need to double the 보다 verb. So yeah, don't use it with 보다. That's everything you need to know about this form as far as like how to use it or rules. Let's go on to a sentence. Let's do an exam. Actually, I want to see if you can finish a sentence here. I'm going to give you your first example. Let's do our first example sentence. Now, I know you might not get it yet. You might get it, you might not get it. But I'm just going to give you an example sentence and see what you can make of it. Now, I'm not going to be correcting your sentences, but I want you to try to complete it. This is just an exercise. Because I wouldn't have time to correct all of your sentences because then I'd have to explain exactly why each of them would be incorrect. But I want to see if you get the general idea of what it implies. 창문을 열어보니, 창문, window, 열다, open. How would you finish this sentence? Again, I'm not going to be correcting your sentences in chat, but I will be looking at them to see what you're doing. Just try to finish this sentence how you might. I'm just going to read some of them. Deirdre Faye McKellar Price. That's a really long name. Welcome. Oh, I missed something Jordy asks. What equivalent Talk to Me in Korean level are your second or third books? I wouldn't know because I haven't used their textbooks. I don't own them. Maybe wink, wink, Hyunwoo, you can send me a set of them. No, I've never used them, so I don't know what they would correspond with. But as far as general level, 1, 2, and 3 would be up to intermediate somewhere. I would say for most people, that'll be low intermediate. It technically has some stuff in there that's like high intermediate or maybe low advanced for some of the very later chapters. But that doesn't mean the book brings you up to that level. It simply contains stuff from those levels because they're so commonly used. So yeah, I would say like low intermediate would be a realistic level. JN Park, I love this lecture even though I'm Korean. Welcome. 어서오세요. Stitch says, 김치 소다가 있어? 있어. 있소이다. Sorry, Stitch. Okay, let's see what people are writing. 창문을 열어보니 생각보다 추웠어. Yeah, I'm just gonna read your sentences and see what you're thinking for them. I'm not gonna be correcting any because I don't have time to do that. 날씨가 정말 더워요. 창문을 열어보니 날씨가 너무 추워요. 창문을 열어보니 해가 있어. There is a sun. Well, that's a very profound statement. You know, I opened the window and I realized, hey, there's a sun. 창문을 열어보니 방을 nope. 창문을 열어보니 날씨 추웠더라. Okay. I'm just gonna read them. 걸 비가 오는 걸 깨달았어요. Okay. 창문을 열어보니까 방에서 가방 창문을 열어보니 밖에 정말 말. I will correct that one thing. The Jordy, your spelling should be 말, like a horse, not 물, like water. 비가 오고 있는 걸 깨달았어요. Okay, in general though, you're on the right track. Again, I'm not going to be correcting them because there would be a lot of different corrections I would want to make for grammar, but I just want to see if you get the general gist of what it kind of implies. So yeah, let me finish the sentence for what I have. One of you was actually really close to what I had. 창문을 열어보니. So, 창문, window. So I opened the window, tried opening the window, like I was trying to do it. As in, it was my first time opening the window, at least this day. So I tried opening the window, and I realized, 보니, again, this is the same as 가, 보니까, snow, 눈이 오다, to snow, 눈이 오고 있더라고요. So I recall, 더라고요 is just a recall form, like you're just recalling something that already happened, something you experienced personally or saw or heard about. I have a separate lesson about this if you don't know this form. This was actually one of the requirements for, well, the prerequisites for today's lesson. 창문을 열어보니 눈이 오고 있더라고요. So I opened the window and I realized, hey, it was snowing. As in, I realized, past tense though. So this is a recall. This is a recollection, a memory. Like I remember, hey, when I opened the window, I realized it was snowing. So I opened the window and saw it was snowing. You can kind of think about it like this. 창문을 열어보니 눈이 오고 있더라고요. So like I opened the window and it was snowing. Like that. Not like it was snowing, I opened the window, but I realized it was snowing. So we would express this sort of feeling in English with intonation. And it's not only this form, but a lot of grammar forms you'll see we kind of express differently in English. It doesn't necessarily have to translate as a I realized in English. It's going to be more of a feeling. And it can be conveyed through intonation. So instead of saying, well, I opened the window and I realized it was snowing, we might just say, I opened the window and it was snowing. We raise our intonation to show that we were shocked, right? Or surprised. So in this case, yeah, I realized. It could also be a realization, something that you weren't expecting. 창문 열어보니 눈이 오고 있더라고요. So I opened the window and it was snowing, like that. Okay, after opening the window, I realized it was snowing. 창문을 열어보니 눈이 오고 있더라고요. Okay, this is just one sentence though. We've got some more for this lesson. Let's do the next one though. I think this black marker might be going. It's the thing, these markers don't seem to last more than like a few weeks, which is weird. Because I think if I were using them every day, they would also last like a week. I think it's just they get dried out as soon as you open them. 이걸 보고 보니. Do I have space for that? Yeah, I think I do. I saw some of your examples, and a couple people wrote things like after the 보니 form, things that showed the actual meaning of I realized or I learned or something like that. And that's also how it can be used. So I'm going to give you this example which has that. 이걸 먹어보니 여기가 왜 유명한지 알겠어요. So 이걸 is this is the same as 이것을. 이걸 먹어보다. So to try eating. So I tried eating this, and then after I did, I realized. So I never had tried this before, but after I tried it, I realized that, what did I realize? 여기, here, 여기가 왜 유명한지, 왜 유명한지. So why this place is famous, this G ending with why. So why it's famous, and this will be followed with 알다 or 모르다, typically. Can also be followed with other forms that show that you want to know something or you're curious about something. 왜 유명한지 알겠어요. So I've got it. 알겠다. I understand. Again, this is, you can think of this as like 알고 있어요. It has a different nuance, but if you don't know the 알겠다 verb, 왜 유명한지 알겠어요. So I figure out, I understand now why this place is famous. 이걸 먹어보니. So after I tried this, I realized why this place is so famous. Or after trying it, I now know why this place is so famous after I tried eating this. That sort of meaning. So after I tried eating this, now I know why this place is so famous. Because the food, implying the food is so good that I understand why this place is famous because their food is so good. And I only know that, I realized that after trying it myself. 이걸 먹어보니 여기가 왜 유명한지 알겠어요. So after I tried eating this, I understood why this place is famous. I get why this place is famous. Why? 이걸 먹어보니 여기가 왜 유명한지 알겠어요. Okay, let's check the chat for a second. I translate it right in my head. Stars Gem. I translate it right in my head despite being rusty. I'm proud. Good job. Good job. This is a very common grammar form. And although it has a lot of requirements, a lot of other forms it's used together with, because of how extremely common it is, I would still classify it as intermediate myself. But you might think it's advanced. I would say very common, so you'll see it a lot. Okay, let's do another one. I think this black is dying, so let's switch over to the blue again until the blue dies. It's okay. Oops, not 직업, 직접, different word. Okay, how would you finish this sentence? Again, try to complete it. I'm not going to check your answers for grammar mistakes or anything. I just want to see what you would do. 직접 앉아 보니. So I'll explain what it means. 직접 is like directly, but this would be like for myself. So 앉다 is to sit down. So after sitting down by myself, after actually trying to sit down, I would say after actually sitting down in it. So as in there's a chair, and after after actually taking a seat to test it out myself, I realized, so now I've sat in a chair. I've actually sat down myself. So I took the time to sit down. What did I realize? Let's see what you've got. Let's see what everyone says you realized. While I take another sip of this Limitless Refresh. That was almost in the, looked like it was in the clearance aisle, but it might have just been misplaced. Yeah. It has caffeine, and that's what's important. If it didn't have caffeine in it, I probably wouldn't buy it again. But it's not bad. Okay, let's see what you have. 직접 앉아보니 대가 보니 생각보다 훨씬 더 힘들어요. You wouldn't use 힘들어요. I actually just finished making a video about how to use 힘들어요. So, but that'll be up after a couple months. Julia, very nice. I'll just say that. Telma, not bad. Doesn't mean everyone else is bad. It just means that those are ones that stood out to me. Basmala says, when you finish writing with the pen, I always put the cap on tight. They always have the cap on completely tight. 100% it's on. But they still dry out. I think it's that when I ordered them in the first place, they shipped me ones that were already old. So, because I remember in the box, a few of the pens didn't even work right out of the box. Like after I would open up a new pen and uncap it, and it was already dry. Normally I would return them, except by the time I opened the box to get that pen, it was like a year after I bought it. So it's kind of like I can't really return it now because it's been a year. But that's really what happens. I think it's just they send me a box that's already expiring, or, you know, and then most of them work, but some of them are already dry. And then after you use them, they completely dry out. Persian Prince, you cannot say that sentence. You have after I sat in it myself, I realized that I was so tired. The realization, you're not going to realize that you were so tired. You knew you were tired. You could say something like, after sitting in it myself, after directly sitting in the chair myself, I realized how tired I must have been because this chair was so comfortable. Like you can do some, you know, obscure thing like that. But you're talking about the chair here. You're not talking about yourself. You're saying, after I sat in the chair for myself, I realized how tired I was. Those are unrelated sentences. You're talking about the chair, but then you're talking about yourself. And you wouldn't realize that you're tired unless you wanted to say, I realized I didn't know how tired I was. You could do that, but it doesn't really fit with talking about the chair here, because we're talking about the chair by saying after I actually sat in it for myself. So anyway, so it would have to be something like wet the end. Yeah, should I just like put it on my tongue and like lick it a bit to make it, you know, wet so it works better? Yeah, we're not going there. 앉아보니, okay, je suis moi says, 직접 앉아보니 의사가 not 더러워. I would recommend doing a review of how to use 더라고요 for conjugation. 철수 씨가 이 속발을 왜 사는지 알겠어요. It's always 철수. Hey, but you know, I feel vindicated because if you're watching the new game, Squid Game, 오징어 game, you know that robot girl? You know that robot girl character? That I can't draw her. You know who I'm talking about. The robot. The 무궁화 꽃이 피었습니다. That girl. This is Younghee. You know how I always make examples with Charsu and Younghee? Charsu is the boy. Younghee is the girl. These are friends. So this robot girl, her best friend is Charsu. That's Charsu's friend, who I always talk about. It's Younghee. That's Younghee. She's that big giant robot thing from Squid Game. Okay, I'm just reading some other things. It's not a spoiler. It's in like the first episode, isn't it? I've never even seen the show, but they're like the images of that character from the on the advertising. It's not a spoiler. I'm not telling you anything that happens. Right. Let's see. Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't spoil it anyway. I hate spoilers personally. Unless it's a movie I just don't care about, like I have zero interest, then I actually want spoilers just because like I don't want to waste my time. But I'm curious to know what the director did, but I don't want to waste my time finding that out. Then I want a spoiler. But for stuff I'm actually like I might watch someday or I'm interested in, yeah, I avoid spoilers like really, really hard. Okay, so let's finish this sentence with what I would put here. 직접 앉아보니. Here's an expression you're going to see commonly used with this form. 생각보다. So more than I thought. 생각보다 편했어요. 직접 앉아보니. So I directly, or I actually sat down. 앉다. So after actually sitting down in it for a bit, in the chair, 생각보다, so literally more than 생각, more than thoughts. So more than I thought. 편하다 is to be comfortable, to be comfy, the comfy chair. 생각보다 편했어요. So it was more comfortable than I expected. After I actually sat down in it, I realized it was a lot more comfortable than I expected. 직접 앉아보니 생각보다 편했어요. 직접 앉아보니 생각보다 편했어요. So after actually sitting down, it was a lot more comfortable than I expected. 직접 앉아보니 생각보다 편했어요. I saw someone in the chat, I don't remember who said it, but I saw someone write 편안하다. 편안하다 would be more like peaceful, not relaxing. So 편하다 is the one you want. 편안하다 would be more like, yeah, peaceful environment or something like that. So different meanings. Okay. Oh, actually, it's a little different. It's not just 신다. It's 신고 걸어보니. This one's kind of similar to the sentence we just did. The last one was about chairs. This one's about shoes. 그 신발. So those shoes. 그 신발을 신고 걸어보니. So I put on those shoes and 걷다, walked. 걸어보니. So after walking, after trying to walk, after wearing those shoes, so I put those shoes on and tried walking, and then I realized that 좀, a little bit, kind of, 별로, not that good. 좀 별로였어요. 좀 별로였어요. So I realized they were just kind of, not that good. 그 신발을 신고 걸어보니 좀 별로였어요. 좀 별로였어요. After walking around in those shoes, I realized that they weren't very good. 그 신발을 신고 걸어보니 좀 별로였어요. Why do I keep messing up when I'm trying to pronounce this? 별로였어요. I think it's because I'm saying it like fast? I don't know. 그 신발을 신고 걸어보니 좀 별로였어요. I think I'm saying it okay. I always doubt my saying it perfectly because I got to teach it to you. Got to teach it to everyone. I have to say it as good as possible. Okay. 그 신발을 신고 걸어보니 좀 별로였어요. So yeah, after walking around in those shoes, I realized they weren't very good. And you can say anything here that you want that you realized about those shoes after you wore them and walked around in them. It doesn't have to be that they weren't very good. You can realize that they were very good, or maybe that they were cheaper than you thought, as in quality, lower quality than you thought. Or you can realize that, they break apart easily. That's kind of related to it. This sort of usage is typically going to imply good or bad quality. Same with the chair, but you could put anything else in there that you want that you've realized about them. Now you wouldn't do something like after wearing the shoes for a while, I realized I forgot to turn off my stove. That doesn't have anything to do with it. So I'm just kind of throwing that out there. So it doesn't literally mean I realized anything. It's after doing something specific, I realized something about that related to that in that sort of meaning. Not after I, open up the window, I realized that I forgot to turn off the oven. Unless it's related to it, it kind of sounds awkward and random. Since you realized it only because you did that action. Okay. Here's one that looks a little different, but it's the same form. And this one uses quoting forms also. So you might not know this ending here if you're not familiar with quoting forms. I'm going to leave this up on the board. I want you to try to translate this. Give me a translation for this sentence. I'll tell you a couple words. 알아보다 means to look into something, to search something. To look into it or something like that. Find out. And then the 봐네요 is 타고 하네요. 좋다고 하네요. So it's a quoting form. So they say, they say that 좋다, something is good. So go ahead and try to translate this. You can go for completely literal translation, or you can give a natural translation, whichever you pick. Go ahead and try to translate this on your own first before I go over what it actually means. Let's check the chat. So someone entered the chat. It's like, hey chat, any recommendations for sources for learning Korean grammar? And they're like, this channel is a great source for learning Korean. Thanks. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna walk into like a Korean language community and be like, should I learn Korean or Spanish? Like, what do you think people are gonna say? Espanol. Okay, I'm just reading your translations. Practicing stuff you've learned with people helps. Yeah, that's true. Practicing is a good way to solidify what you're learning. To searching, I figured out this is the best place. Just like they say it is, this place is the best. That could work. Turns out this is the best place. Oh, it disappeared. That wasn't bad though. Like I said, you can do literal or natural translation. It's up to you. I am a fan of literal translations only when you're personally trying to read like contents in Korean and you want to help better understand it. Then I usually prefer literal translations just for study purposes. But if you're ever doing like translation for someone else, or you wanna like translate Twitter posts of BTS members into English, always go for a natural translation. Just literal translations are for learners. Natural translations are for people who don't speak the language, so I always think those are better. They say this place. Okay, very nice, Michelle. I see you're trying to put in the quoting form meaning in there as well. I'm learning Korean and Spanish. Joke's on you. Arriba! I don't know. I'm trying to think. I probably know a lot of like random Spanish just from growing up in California. Like despite not taking like Spanish classes or not in high school or anything like that. Okay. 알아보니. So this is the verb 알아보다. And the verb 알아보다 already has 보다 in it. So you're not going to say 알아봐보니. Just 알아보니. That's it. 여기가 제일 좋다네요. So here is the 제일, the number one, the best. 좋다, the best. 좋다고 하네요. So they say, this is a quoting form. They say, here's the best. So after I looked into it, I realized everyone says that this place is the best. So, like I'm searching for a place to learn Korean on YouTube. 알아보니 여기가 제일 좋다네요. So yeah, let's see what I wrote here for the translation. After looking into it, people say that here is the best. Now, it could be the best for anything. There's no other context in this sentence. But yeah, after looking into it, I realized that everyone says here's the best. That sort of meaning. Okay. Now, please do not, if you're only using me for learning Korean, please branch out and get some extra stuff, because I would say the same for any resource, not just my own. You want a good variety of sources to teach you Korean, because ultimately you are the one who learns Korean. Nobody can actually teach you Korean. I'm just a helper, but you're the only one who learns it. So you want to make sure you diversify. Add that. Okay. Okay, look at this for a second. You don't have to write down a translation. Just think about it for a second. I'll tell you the translation in just 10 seconds. While I check the chat. Muchos abrazos desde Mexico. Ha ha ha. I'm not sure what abrazos means or desde means. I only know muchos is many, a lot of, something, something. Thank you. Desde, is that like saying? I don't know. For saying Mexico? I don't know. I don't speak Spanish. Bunzang Chiri Kang 선생님. Welcome. Seeing how cute the kids are. No, it's not cute. This is not 귀엽다. This is ki, not ki. Ki. 귀엽다 would be ki. This is ki. Kyuda is to raise. Abrazo means hugs. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, abrazo. They're similar in French. So lots of hugs from Mexico. Is that desde from? Oh, it is, right? Yeah. Woo! I got it. Many hugs from Mexico. Okay. Muchos abrazos desde Korea. The other day, I had tacos for lunch. So whenever I have like Mexican food at my house, I always have my my Google Assistant play like mariachi music. Like, okay, Google, play mariachi music. It's like, playing mariachi. You get some loud mariachi music, and then I enjoy my taco. It tastes better when you do that. If I have like, if I make myself like a nice breakfast, I'll play like, I'll have some cafe music playing. If I'm eating Panda Express, I'll ask it to play like, Chinese restaurant music, like it's nice. Like, you go into a Chinese restaurant, you get like that nice kind of relaxing atmospheric music. You go into a Mexican restaurant, you'll get like, Latin music or mariachi style music. Depends on the place. I just like that. I like the atmosphere. It's part of the meal to help you enjoy it. The music does improve the flavor. I swear that Del Taco never tastes better than when you have mariachi music playing in the background. When you're just sitting there by yourself, you're eating like Taco Bell or Del Taco, and you're like putting sauce on it, and it's like all you hear is like the lights, like that high pitched sound from the lights. You're just like, it feels like you're bored. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just eating. It's a chore. You play some mariachi music, and now you're like, yeah, this is my lunchtime. Like, yeah, it's so good. Oh yeah, grab some extra sauce. Oh yeah, it's like it changes the meal into an experience. So yeah, and it's kind of nice to listen to all the different mariachi music. There's a lot of famous stuff. I listened to a lot of it lately. There's like a lot of ones that like you don't think you know mariachi music until you start listening, and you're like, I know that song. Oh, I know that song. Oh, of course I know that song. There's lots of music like that you'll know it as soon as it comes on. Like not just not just that one, but there's like a lot of other ones. You're like, oh, of course I know that music. So. Okay, what were we talking about? Korean, right? 아이를 키워보니. So 키우다 is to raise a child. So after trying to raise a child, so having tried raising a child, something like that, I realized, my 마음. So literally my mom's heart, but this is more like how my mom feels. my 마음을 이해하다. So I understand. 이해하게 되었어요. I came to know. 이해하게 됐어요. So I came to understand how my mom feels after having raised a kid for myself. After having kids, but more in the sense of raising them, I came to understand how my mom feels. 아이를 키워보니 엄마의 마음을 이해하게 됐어요. 아이를 키워보니 엄마의 마음을 이해하게 됐어요. So again, after having tried to raise kids, so after having kids, you might say, I came to realize, and I do have a live stream about this form if you're curious, this que 했어요 form. There's a grammar live stream about that where I talk all about it. So I came to understand that sort of meaning, how my mom feels after having kids for myself. Again, literally, 키워보다. So trying to raise. So I realized after trying to raise kids. Okay, we're not done. We have a couple more sentences. Best way to learn a form, see it used a lot. Try to make it a few times yourself for practice in a real conversation, then you got it. You got it mastered. I recommend writing down this part verbatim. I recommend writing down this and memorizing it. This is one of the most common ways you're going to see this form used in Korean. Write this down. 생각해보니 or 생각해보니까. Most often you'll hear 생각해보니까, but it's the same thing. Just write this down, use it exactly as it's written. 생각해보니 빨간색이 더 예쁜 것 같아요. So 생각하다 is to think. So I tried thinking about it. So after I tried thinking about it for a bit, I realized that 빨간색 is red. 빨간색이 더 예쁜 것 같아요. I think red is prettier. Although literally this means I realized after thinking about it, in English we might just say, you know, after thinking about it. So in English, this expression, after I thought about it, after thinking about it, it's this form. That's this form. After doing that, excuse me, after doing that or after trying to do that, so after thinking about it, after I thought about it for a second, I think red's prettier. So this is very commonly used. And again, I recommend just writing down this expression, 생각해보니 or 생각해보니까, and using it in your conversations. Just, hey, you know, now that I think about it, or that sort of meaning, you know, after thinking about it for a bit, 빨간색이 더 예쁜 것 같아요. I think red's a little bit better. I think red's a little bit prettier, I think. 생각해보니 빨간색이 더 예쁜 것 같아요. So after thinking about it, I think red's a little bit prettier. Okay, last sentence for this form. Oh, okay, I only got a little bit more. Let me write a little smaller because I need some space here. 사람들이, that's too small. Okay. Oh, that's messy. Let's write that a little nicer. Okay. 이 동네. So this neighborhood. 이 동네에 살다. To live in this neighborhood. So 살아보니. So after I've lived in this neighborhood. So after living in this neighborhood for a while. 사람들이. People. 왜? Why? 여기를. So here. 좋아하는지, 왜 여기를 좋아하는지 알겠네요. So I understand now why people like here. Again, this 지 알겠다 is a different grammar form. I have a full live stream about it. You can check that out if you don't get it. Well, let me check the paper for a second. Try to translate this on your own. Just 30 seconds. I'm gonna check something. Okay. 이 동네에 살아보니. So yeah, write down your translation, your guess for this. 이 동네에 살아보니 사람들이 왜 여길 좋아하는지 알겠네요. Let's see what you have. Oh yeah, you just realized now yeah, it's all moving. We've upgraded. We've made some upgrades. We did a lot of upgrades. If you go back and watch like the first live streams that I did in 2018, and then with my cell phone camera, and then check like 2019 and 2020, and then 2021 now. Go compare them. You'll see like each year there's like a big jump as I upgraded something. The first year was I bought a webcam. Next year was I got the green screen background, and then the next year I got a much better microphone, and then this time it's a better camera, and so yeah, a bunch of stuff has changed since we first started these. Living in this neighborhood, I understand why people like it here. Very nice. And Brenda, after living in this neighborhood, I've come to realize why people say they like to live here. Yeah, very good. Came to understand why people like it. Very good. Just 동네에 is good. Was someone asking something? Oh, I see. Udipan asked 동네에서. No, the verb 살다 is an exception. 살다 is an exception in that you can use 에 or 에서 with 살다. Otherwise, if it were another verb, you would use 에서. After watching your old stuff, I appreciate your new microphone. Yeah, and the microphone was probably, I wish I could say it was the most expensive upgrade, but it was actually one of the cheapest upgrades at $400, I think it was, for the microphone. But it was definitely needed compared to the other microphone I was using, which, yeah, didn't work very well. And even this one isn't perfect, but at least this one I don't have to have attached to me. I can have it off the screen, and it'll still pick up pretty good, as long as I'm not like facing away and looking at the wall or something. It'll pick up pretty good. Okay. 이 동네에, so in this neighborhood, 살아보니, so after living in this neighborhood, I realized that 사람들이 왜 여길 좋아하는지 알겠네요. So I understand, I get now why people like here. So after living here in this neighborhood, I understand now why people like it. After living in this neighborhood, I realized why people like here. 이 동네에 살아보니 사람들이 왜 여길 좋아하는지 알겠네요. So now we've seen several sentences that use this 지 알다, this form. So if you're not already familiar with it, please go and review it because you'll see it used a lot. Since we're talking about a realization, this form is often used to show I get it. Like I realize now, I understand why, or how. And it doesn't have to be why. You can also do like how or when or who or what. Those are also fine as well. But the point is you want to know this 지 알다, 지 모르다 form because it's commonly used. It's commonly used to express things that you've learned, things that you've realized, which goes well along with this meaning of I've just realized something. So you'll find certain forms tend to get used with this form a lot. So yeah, that is our last form for this lesson. But our live stream's not over. I also want to compare the 3 forms that we've done so far. Actually, we've only done 2. We've only done 2. There's still one more we have to do. 고 보니까. That would be a future lesson if you vote on it. It was already recommended to me by a member, so we'll get it someday. So a really quick review. Actually, that's like so messy. Pathetic. And I did this review at the end of the last lesson too, so this is pretty much the same as that, just adding in what we've just learned today. Because these forms are all quite similar, so it's kind of okay to learn them together in how they work. I mean, like, it's okay to compare them because they do have some overlap. Okay, the form we just used today, 해 보니까. This one, again, shows that someone realizes something after they try to do something, typically their first time. So after someone tries to do something, they realize. 파가 보니까, which we did last time, 파가 보니까 shows that someone realizes something while they're doing something. because we have taga, while. So while they're doing something, they realize something. And because they're doing something, because they realize it while doing something, this implies they were also doing something for a while. So for longer than a second. It's not something they do once, but something that they're frequently doing for a while. So while they're in the middle of doing some sort of thing that's going on, while they're doing that, they realize. And then the other form, 고 보니까, which we haven't done yet for a live stream, this shows that someone realizes something after finishing something. So after they've completed something, completely finished something, and this one's often used with something like that's unexpected. Like not I realized, after, I realized after living here that this is why this place is so nice, or now I know why this place is so popular. Not that sort of realization. This is something that's more unexpected. So I didn't expect that, but after finishing doing this, I realized, and we'll do a future lesson about how that works later, but I just wanted to kind of quickly compare them. These are the two we've already done. So yeah, today though is just for after you've tried doing something. And if you're curious how those are different, then check out the other live stream I have from last time where we learned about that and how that's used. It's a little bit different in how it works, but generally it's the same overall meaning. You realize something while or after doing something. Okay, that was our lesson today, and that was pretty fast. The reason it's fast is because there's only one topic today, and it was an intermediate topic. So there weren't any other things we had to compare it to. And I was able to give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 examples. And yeah, if you got the lesson today, if that made sense, give yourself a big pat on the back. Give yourself a round of applause. Congratulations. You've done it. You've won. Okay, so we'll have a short Q&A. I'll take questions for about 10 minutes. But first, I've got 5 minutes left before it's 3. I want to redo the announcements again because I gave some announcements at the beginning of this lesson. I'm going to give them again. First announcement, the regular announcements. If you are a Patreon member or a channel member, actually channel members, that's different. 1 second. First announcements, if you're a Patreon, any Patreon, you get access to all of these outlines and worksheets for every live stream that I have them for. And you can find those all in the document, which I just linked in the chat. It says, check out all of my live Korean classes. That has every live class I've ever done, every worksheet there is, and every outline for every class. There is an outline since the very first one, so you can check all of them out. Again, for Patreon members. If you're a channel member, however, you get access to all of the abridged videos, these ones, a few days early. You get them tonight. So tonight, after this live stream is done, you can go on my channel and get the abridged version, watch it. It'll be like 10 minutes or so. And everyone else, you'll get it too, but you have to wait until Wednesday or Thursday later in the week. Also, again, there is no live class on Sunday. And if you're wondering if I have a live class on a certain week, please check out the Google document that I linked. It's right in the chat. So you can see if I'm going to do a class on this day. You don't have to wonder if I'm going to do a class in advance. It's always going to be there, at least a few weeks in advance. There is no live stream again next Sunday. Because of that, the next live stream y'all have will be on October 17th. But then I need to say, again, in case you missed it in the beginning, October 17th will be the last live stream class until the end of November, until November 28th. Because I'm going to be going to Korea again for about 3 weeks in November. So we'll have one more class, October 17th. Make sure to come for that. And then no more classes until the end of November. So it's going to be quite a long break. The reason is before I go to Korea, I have to do a lot of preparation to go. I can't just leave right after a live stream. I need to even bring this camera that I'm streaming on. I have to bring that to Korea as well. So yeah. And then the other announcement, I already made this in the beginning, but in case you weren't here, these are not available yet, but these are coming out soon. Korean Made Simple workbooks for Korean Made Simple 2 and Korean Made Simple 3. So these workbooks will be available hopefully by the end of this month, if everything goes right. And I still have some work to do. They're ready for print right now, but I need to do some more work on them before I just send them out. I want to double, triple, quadruple check them again. And yeah, those are coming. Oh yeah, so if you're a Patreon or a channel member, make sure to check Patreon or my channel page, the community tab right now. There is a survey. You can get your name in the back of both of these books forever, for all time, for eternity. Anyone who buys these books, your names will be in them. I can show you what it looks like. So this is the workbook 1, because there's none in the 2 and 3 yet. Workbook 1 has a special thanks section. Special thanks right here. And at the time, this was all of the YouTube members. And I don't even know if I had YouTube members at this. Let me check. What year was this? This was 2018. So I might have had like a couple YouTube members, but not very many at that time. This has all of the Patreon members at the time that I published this book. They're still here. So this will be your names for the second and the third book. So you get 2 books. But that survey is only open until October 23rd. So you have to join Patreon or my channel memberships right now to get that. And yeah, that's just one way. I just want to say thank you for everyone who financially supports me to keep doing this. And that is all of the announcements. So if you have any questions, that only took 3 minutes. Great. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them now. I'll take Q&A questions for just 10 minutes, and then we'll close the stream for today. So November gave me time to catch up with old videos I missed. Nice. Yeah. November will give you, well, I'm still going to be uploading new videos. I'm not pausing my video uploads. There will still be 2 every single week, as usual, 2 or 3. But there won't be any live lessons. There will be, though. I'll try to do a regular live stream. Maybe I can crash Talk to Me in Korean stream. Maybe I could show up unannounced at Hyunwoo's offices and see if I can get into one of his live streams. I don't know. Billy, can you give me more photos of KeyCat so I can revive the fan account? Fan account. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. Send me a message. Ping me on Twitter. Ping me on, sorry, not Twitter. Discord's better. Discord, I can send them directly to you. Ping me on Discord and I can send you some photos of KeyCat. I haven't filmed with KeyCat recently. KeyCat's actually been pretty busy working on editing. But yeah, let me know. Michelle asks, which level were the workbooks be? The workbooks are directly for Korean Made Simple 2 and Korean Made Simple 3. So if you already have those books and you're already doing the practice pages and you feel, I really wish these were an extra 7 or 8 pages long, right? Because each of these chapters is about 7 pages, I think. Let me check. Let's just grab a random one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 pages, 7, 8 pages for each one. So if you feel like, oh, I really wish there was an extra 7 or 8 pages for each of my Korean Made Simple chapters, then that's what the workbook's for. But otherwise, you don't need them. They're not essential for learning Korean. They're just extra, more of what's already in the book, pretty much. Undong Park, please do more videos of Hangang Hongwon. Yeah, I really like Hangang. I have to think about what else to do there. Brenda says, will there be a PDF version of your workbook? Yes, there already is a PDF version of the first workbook. There will be PDF versions of these. In fact, that's one of the things I still have to do before I can publish is make a PDF versions of these. Because it's not simply I have to write them and then they're published, but most of the work is actually after they're finished writing. You know, getting the covers done, which fortunately I have a friend who does that. Getting the covers done, you know, checking for typos, making sure the page numbers are correct, table of contents, special thanks section, audio files, you know, different formats, making sure those formats are available on my website. There's all this stuff I have to do. And then I have to do like a promotion for it. I'll have to make a new video for that later, announcing it. Otherwise, no one will know it exists. ID Martinez, can I purchase the books in Mexico? Sí. I can't say that sentence in Spanish though. You can purchase them in Mexico. They sell them through bookdepository.com. Sorry, I'm typing with one hand, so it's a little slow. Bookdepository.com has my books for most countries that you can't get through Amazon. And they have free shipping, and the prices are pretty good, I think. Considering it includes free shipping, they have good prices. So if you're not in one of those countries, it's cheaper to buy it from your local bookstore or Amazon or somewhere like that. But if you're not, then it's a good alternative. And I've always promoted them since my first book when I noticed that they were selling it there. Fatih says, please, can you give me an example with 야 된다고 했어요? And the workbooks can be purchased to Morocco? Let me check Morocco first. Let's see if they ship to Morocco. Yes, they do. Book Depository ships to Morocco. It says right on their website. There you go. 야 된다고 했어요. That's simply 야 되다. So 야 되다 is to have to. So like if I'll give you really short. 하다. Actually, let's do 가다 because then I can say go. 가다. I have to go. So 가야 돼요. 가야 돼요. I have to go. Or you can say 가야 해요. Same thing. 가야 돼요. So if we were to put that into a quoting form, 가야 된다고 말, which is optional, 했어요. So someone said, quote, oops, cool, sorry. Someone said, quote, well, you might see it without it. 가야 된다고 했어요. So someone said, quote, you have to go, or I have to go. We don't know the context, so it could be anyone said, anyone has to go. Someone said they had to go. Let's just do 저는, I. There goes the marker. I mean the eraser. 저는 가야 된다고 했어요. So I said that I have to go. I mean, it could still be someone else, but without any other context, it means I said I had to go. 저는 가야 된다고 말했어요. Or 저는 가야 된다고 했어요, which is more common, because usually you don't need to add 말 before then. I'll have to get a new eraser anyway. Even though the markers might last like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, the erasers only last like 2 before they start getting really dirty. Butterfly Rose says, where do I find your workbook? Those are on my website. The PDF, if you go to, you can go to gobillykorean.com or even directly to koreanmadesimple.com and you can find all of the links for that. Let's see, book deposit. Someone asked about Pakistan. Can I get your book to Pakistan? Let me check. Pakistan. Nope, Pakistan is not ship. You cannot get it through that website, unfortunately. If you want it in Pakistan, I would say go directly to the largest bookstore you can find and ask them to directly order it because they have access to order it directly. They'll have publisher contracts that they can directly order books, just like the same way they would order like Harry Potter or something. They directly order it through the ISBN. They would have to do it like that though. There wouldn't be any way to get it from one of these websites since they don't ship there. Daliana, would the subject be the same or can be different after they did this? I realize. No, because you're saying someone realized something. If you're saying someone else realized something, you can't know that they realized it. After someone else did something, they realized that. So it wouldn't work. It has to be the same. Just logically, because you can't say what someone else is realizing. You could say, for example, you could do like one of our sentences. 생각해보니 빨간색이 더 예쁜 것 같다고 말했어요. Like that person said, after thinking about it, they realized that, the red color is better. You could quote someone on that. That's okay. But you can't say after they did something, I realized that, because it's not you realizing it, it's the person who did it that realizes it. Literally, you can think about it like because they tried doing something, 니까, because form, because they tried doing something, they realized. You can think about it like that. So it wouldn't make sense to switch the subjects. Reginald, yeah, you can start with anything. You don't even have to use my books. You can use any course you want. Just start from a course. Find some sort of course that goes, that's self-study course. And there are a lot of them these days. So I have books. I also have a free YouTube course that has like 100 episodes in it. Can I get it to Paraguay? Everyone's asking like the specific countries. Can I get it here? Paraguay, nope. Again, you'd have to go to a local bookstore, your largest bookstore you can find, and tell them to order it, and they can order it for you. That's the best way to get it. Or just get the ebook version. Josue Ramirez. Wow, this is my first time here. My name is Billy. Your name is not Billy. Your name is Josue Ramirez. Is Billy short for Josue Ramirez? I think she's trying to say, I realized after someone did this. No, that wouldn't make any sense because again, it's the verb doing it is including with the realizing part. If you wanted to say after Max said what he said, I realize, that wouldn't be this form. You would simply say after Max said, then I realized, and you can use verbs like 알게 되다 to come to know, or 깨닫다 to realize directly, or something like that. Or like I learned, or I heard, or something like that. Small says, not related to the lesson, but is 저희 only used when you want to speak honorific and are excluding the listener? Well, 저희, you can, the actual literal, I don't like saying literal too much. The actual official usage of 저희 is as a humble version of it's 저. It's 저 plus he, which is the pluralizer. So it's me, and 저 is an humble verb. Sorry, humble is the word I was thinking of. Humble noun. So it's a humble noun for me, including other people around me. Like we're putting ourselves down like that. But in actual usage, it simply is a humble version of 우리. You can just think about it as a more polite version of 우리. Because technically, you're not supposed to make someone else be humble to someone else. Unless it's like maybe your kid humbly giving something to someone else, like a present to a teacher, you know. Otherwise, you're not supposed to make other people have to use humble verbs when you're talking to them. But 저희 gets used that way. 저희 is okay. It's an exception. It actually just gets used as a honorific, like a, not honorific, a very polite version of 우리. So that's all you have to know about it. But it doesn't include the listener, unless you mean the listener like is one of the people you're saying like us. It just means us. So you can think of it as like 우리, just polite. Okay. All right. I think that's good for today. Thank you everyone for coming. And I will see you next time. 그럼 다음에 또 봐. Ow, I hit my hand on the... 다음에 또 봐.